Hello, welcome to Steve McDonald's Arts and Crafts, and today what I'm going to be doing is trying out something new with a freeform poured bowl. I've got one of my pictures from the colouring books that I have available that I drew a while back. They're on my website. I will link them in the description below. And I've also got this bit of plastic. Now, what I want to do is go around this using Posca pens and similar types of acrylic pens. And all I'm going to do is go around the outline and then colour them in. And they're fairly easy to colour them in. This is just a piece of plastic. It's actually a plastic tablecloth, and I use these quite often. I will link everything that I use in the description below, so don't worry about that. You'll be able to find it there. I'm going to do an outline first using these Posca pens because I like to have an outline. These aren't actually Posca pens, these ones. These are just an acrylic paint pen. The great thing about it is if you do make a mistake, once it's dry, then you can just take a baby wipe and take that mistake off and then redo it again afterwards. So going around all these outlines, and then once I've gone around and done all the outlines, I will let you know how to put the colours in so that you get a bit of different colour coming through rather than just one block colour. You will always have this bit, which will be the front bit, which is what you're drawing on, will actually be the face because you'll put it over like that. So I'll carry on, do these outlines, and then I'll come back and show you how I'm going to colour it in. That's all finished with the outline now, and it was really quite easy to do, just to trace through there. What I'm going to do is let that dry up for a little bit, because it's going to take about 5-10 minutes to fully dry. Now I'm going to use some quite bright colours. They're probably not even going to be anything related to the colours that are in the real flowers, but there we go, who cares. The important thing is, because I'm doing this with clear resin, what'll happen is if I put a mark on there, so for instance, I'm going to put some yellow there. Well, that is the yellow that is going to show on the inside. But with these pens, if I wanted a darker colour over that, I would have to allow that to dry and then put the colour on the top as well. Because that way you'll see it from the inside where I've done these black marks, but you'll also see it from the outside of the bowl, because I'll add some additional black marks over it as well. Well, this is all nice and dry now, so I'm ready to put on my other colours. And as I said, I've got the black lines here, so if I quickly go over those, then what'll happen is those black lines will still show under there. Now you can put a bit of texture into these leaves by using different types of stroke, like I'm doing here, and having it thicker in one area than another. Well, I've finished colouring that in now, and I'm really pleased with how it's come out. I think it looks quite nice that side, and it also looks equally as nice that side. So depending on how well it soaks into the resin will determine what the final look is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this probably now an hour or so to make sure it's completely dry, and then I'll pour the resin over it. Before you pour any resin, make sure that you create like a little well or almost like a dam around the edge of your silicone mat, and that will give you a nice depth to your resin without it running all off over the floor and everywhere, because you don't want your resin too thin when you're making something like this, because if it's too thin, what will happen is it won't cure up properly because there is not enough depth of resin for the exothermic reaction. I would like to just say a quick thank you to all my members whose names are coming up now, and if you'd like to become a member of my channel, then the link for that is in the description below, and there are lots of additional perks and a great private community that we have, as well as some other additional tutorials for members only. Link in the description below. So ensuring everywhere is completely covered and filled up. Now, depending on which resin you use and the temperature in where you're doing it, and how long you pour it, it depends on when it's going to be ready to actually mould over. You don't want it to be too runny so that when you do mould it over, it all just runs down the sides, runs off, and doesn't create any depth of bowl, because that isn't going to give you a really good result. I check mine every hour or 2 hours, and then when I feel it's at the right consistency, which is a really quite a thick toffee consistency, then I will then drape it over whatever I'm using to mould it. And in this case, I'm using just a piece of drain pipe with a silicone jug attached to it. I've used this many times to make bowls, and I love the effect that it gives. Now, the other thing is, if you want your sides, once you've got the rough shape that you want to be a little bit more splayed out and be a little bit more of an open bowl, then what I use is just some crumpled up kitchen roll to allow me to keep those out. I love revealing my secrets, and I do genuinely believe that this is the easiest way to transfer your own images into resin. So once I've done that, I'm happy with it, I'll let it cure overnight. The bowl's all set up now, as you can hear, and it should come off there quite easily. Now, the interesting thing is to see, oh, I love the shape that it's come out. I'm going to get rid of these. I don't like these sharp bits, and you often get those, and all I will do with those is I will use my deburring tool to get rid of those, and then go around the whole of the edge of the bowl with some UV resin, and that should get rid of it. So the real interesting thing is going to be to see not how easy this comes off, because I know this comes off really easily. The interesting thing is going to see if the pattern is there. Well, it's looking as if it is. And I won't throw this away, because all I need to do is give that a quick wipe over with a little bit of alcohol, and that will be ready to be used again. There we go. So the bowl has come out really, really well. I'm going to trim these edges up, and then I'll show you it when it's finished. So I need to come clean on something. This isn't the first one that I did. Now, the first one that I did, I absolutely messed up due to my own impatience and silliness. And this is what happened to the first one. So this is what happens when you get too impatient and you try and drape it over too early because you want to go to bed. And it kind of just runs off and gets really, really thin. So this is absolutely no good. It's never going to turn into a bowl. So I need to just take it off. But it's a good lesson to learn. Sometimes you can't be impatient with a resin. But I knew it needed longer. I knew it needed another probably couple of hours before I even attempted to turn it into a bowl. But I thought, no, I know better. But as you can see, we all make mistakes, and even those of us who've got lots of experience with resin still get impatient and still get sometimes bad results. But always learning curve from it. It definitely goes to show you can get some great effects using Posca pens or something similar. I'm really pleased with how that's come out. Let me know below in the comments what you think. I'd be really interested to know how you feel, or the types of bowls that you make, if you make bowls. Please boot that like button. It really does help my channel to get out there. And hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. If you want to get hold of anything that I've used in today's video, the links for that are in the description, along with the links to be able to buy me a coffee. Take care, enjoy your resin. Bye.